Hilary Leverett joins us now. She's a former White House and U.S. State Department official. She's now a professor at American University. You're also a lawyer, actually, so perhaps we can ask
right.
you, what did you make of this complaint?
Well, I did go to Harvard Law School, so I've looked at quite a few complaints in my day, and my read of this complaint, again, it's an initial read, is that it's pretty thin. And if you wanted to boil it down to a few points, they would focus on a guy here speaking to his cousin in Iran. It's not something that when I went to law school, you made a whole case on, let alone led to the National Security Council at the White House spending hours planning retaliation about such an event.
I mean, there are other questions, though. How did this man happen to stumble upon a Mexican informer to carry out this alleged plot? Who suggested killing anyone in the first place? It would seem like the informant suggested bombing a crowded restaurant, killing the ambassador, not the defendant, and so forth.
Yeah, there are a lot of really serious questions and allegations that need to be examined and cross-examined in a court of law, which is something that the United States, under President Obama, has been apparently reluctant to do.
Well, that's interesting, too, because, of course, this does remain a complaint. None of these allegations have been proven in the court of law, and yet
That's
already
right.
We're seeing that the statements such as the Iranian government has to be held accountable for their actions.
Right, you've had not just pundits, and I would stress that mainstream pundits here in the United States already calling for retaliation, but you've had the most senior U.S. officials, including at the Justice Department, but also at the White House, saying clearly that the Iranian government will be held accountable and planning retaliation from within the highest levels of the U.S. government. The initial steps that they've taken to sanction members of the Revolutionary Guard, I think, are taken just to start to lay the groundwork, but the idea that those sanctions are going to do anything to appease an American public opinion that is now being primed for conflict is a very serious case.
Clearly you're very familiar with the geopolitics of the situation. How would a plot like this help Iran's foreign policy goals, do you think?
Well, that's what's very strange here. Here you have a plot without logic. There's not really a logical basis or rationale for why Iran would want to do this. Iran was engaged in a war with Iraq, which the Iranians saw as Saudi-inspired, Saudi-paid for 8 years, that killed over 300,000 Iranians. And during that entire time, the Iranians did not do a single thing to hurt a single Saudi national anywhere in the world. So the idea that now that the Saudis and the Iranians are not getting along that well, that the Iranians would all of a sudden decide to kill their ambassador and maybe bomb their embassy and the Israeli embassy, it makes no sense in terms of how Iran has dealt with its own strategic environment.
Hilary Leverett, thank you very much.
Thank you.